Welcome to this week's Emuna dose for Shabbat Kodesh. Today we're going to explore what it means to have spiritual joy. Interestingly enough, we're told that on Shabbat we're supposed to, of course, feel in a state of joy, but we're also supposed to feel a sense of oneg, of delight. So let's explore for just a moment the idea between joy and delight and understand what the difference is between the two, and then hopefully be able to understand what it means to experience spiritual joy on Shabbat Kodesh. So when a person says that they experience joy, what it basically means, it's more on a intellectual, on a mind level. In other words, I can feel joy even though I'm going through a very difficult time. I can temporarily forget about what's nudging me and occupying me. For a lack of word of description, I could pull myself out of this negativity, the negative feelings that I'm experiencing, and attach myself to momentary experiencing joy, even though really it's only in my mind. I mean, my body doesn't necessarily cooperate. It's really an act of the mind. Yet, when we talk about, or when the Torah asks that we experience what's called oneg Shabbat, a delight, it actually stems from a total experience. Whereas my mind, my body, every aspect of me, every part of me, we're all in the same measure feeling this connectedness and feeling a tremendous amount of joy. So it's an expanded state of joy, essentially, is what is oneg, what is delight, where I'm able to essentially devote every part of my body, meaning that even if during the week I'm not feeling so well, even if I have difficulties during the week, Hashem says, leave it all behind. And on Shabbat, I want you to experience joy on a full level, as though nothing else is occupying your existence. You're going to feel joy, as they say, through and through. And if we allow ourselves to enter this state, where we have not just a joyful mind, but we have a joyful heart, that our body is happy, then we can essentially also understand how we would have a different interaction with the physical things that we interact with on Shabbat, meaning I'll look at food differently, I'll experience rest, a nice shluf in the afternoon differently. In other words, there's this additional power that I have, that I can now really be freed from all my preoccupying thoughts and things that hold me down and wear me down. And I can internalize more the idea of feeling simcha, inner joy, that I hopefully, due to the Shabbat Kodesh, I can feel that more so on a grander level than I can during the week. And so the idea is to taste food, I guess, and experience it as a form of delight in being able to serve Hashem through it. And if you look at even just the meal in itself on Shabbat Kodesh, one of the things that is a common practice by many of us, which the holy rabbis bring down why it's important, is in between the meal, it's important to have minor interruptions, if we want to call it, where we can either suddenly give a beautiful Dvar Torah, or Bezat Hashem, sing beautiful Zmirot of Shabbat, anything that we can in order to defer the idea of eating as means to itself and inject the whole experience with a sense of spirituality. And we can do that in particular on Shabbat because we're given that additional soul. And when we're given that additional soul, we're able to attach ourselves better to things like Zmirot and music and singing and Torah learning And so the idea is to certainly feel a level of joy, not due to anything physical, but due to the spiritual experience of heightening our awareness of Hashem, and feeling and doing acts of spiritual seeking, such as singing, such as increased Torah study, so that we can expand our ability to be able to feel happiness on that day, and not just, for instance, be occupied with things for the body, sleep more, eat more, relax more, whatever it is. It also to increase the idea of feeling joy just for the essence of the spirituality, and we have to actually engage in spiritual things in order to remind ourselves that that's what essentially it is. We're happy because of the spiritual aspect, and not just because we're, doing something and pampering our body. So, Be'ezrat Hashem, let's try to pay attention to that. It's a beautiful focus on the mind and on the body, and Be'ezrat Hashem, we can experience a new dimension of joy and elevate our sense of happiness so that it'll really include every aspect and every part of our body. Be'ezrat Hashem, we should have a joyful and happy and delightful Shabbat Kodesh.